Hello, everyone. Jesse is back. This is a quick recording about Torchlight Infinite Hero Rank and a quick channel update as well. To start, what we are looking at here is what is currently live on TLIHeroRank.com. It's a new version of the leaderboards. This took, 4 or 5 days to tinker with and get through. We basically did a huge visual overhaul. So the Pactspirits have been split into battle and drop, which is not what is present in the raw game source files. As well as you'll notice there are no names. It used to be basically just a wall of text, almost like a spreadsheet, and now it's more visual. I'm obviously taking a lot from Pee-wee Ninja. I'm just trying to make it. We don't have as great and rich of a source. We don't have an API from XD. This is all just thrown together basically, but I'm very proud of this result. You click to filter, and then you click to, have that hero not present. So green and red indicates it's included in the leaderboards or it's not. And then obviously you have all the snapshots available here. 3-month leagues. So latest snapshot is basically month 3. And that is the end of the season, which is where we're at today. The new season starts very, very soon. And last thing I'll show you before I sign off here is the new Stats Explorer. This was a big rework. We basically rebuilt this page from the ground up. It was using bad source data in the sense that it just didn't have the appropriate complex queries done against the snapshots. And right now, what I'm most proud of is that it seems a little bit obscure unless you kind of understand what this is, but distinct picks, this feature, what this is showing you is this is the distinct picks that specifically apply to Sage 1. So for example, there are globally the Sage 1 heroes as compared to the other heroes. It's about 5 times as much by percentage. So globally, it's a 0.1% usage. Now, it's not a common pick at all, right? You don't see, it's not like the most used Sage skill. However, it is sort of an interesting archetype that may not be available on other heroes. At least that's what the data might suggest. 5 times is not even that dramatic. If we go to Rihan 2, especially spicy, 13.5 times the global usage. So basically, it is a huge, overwhelming amount of usage for Rihan 2 using Spectral Slash. Whereas globally, it's about 4% of the total player base. 56% of the player base is using Spectral Slash. So you can see this is kind of an anomaly. This is a spectacularly wide margin for Rihan 2. But you can also do this, interestingly, about the skills themselves, and I'll show you how this works. We'll go to Berserking Blade, for example. This is just the general top picks. This is just done with a simple sum, like the highest number wins. And then these are the percentages when compared to global. So Rosa and Rihan and Thea are the only ones that are higher adjusted for the entire population. So the Berserking Blade is relatively popular with these classes. And let's go to a more interesting skill. Let's go to one that's like Split Shot. Split Shot, very strong skill. It's used more by Karina 1.5 times compared to the global player base is used by Karina once. And then it's used a lot by G1, right? And the distinct support skills, well, obviously the logic would follow that, why on earth would you be using a Split Shot noble support skill, a special support skill for Split Shot, unless it had some big dramatic number here, like 27 times. But like some activation mediums and stuff, this data is not quite as useful as the distinct picks for like heroes and skills for that mapping, but it still can be useful if you want to know what support skills people who play Split Shot are generally using. Now, we have not parsed the data to a point where we'd actually split these out by only the skills that are in the active skill. So, for example, activation medium wouldn't be on this list. That is a separate project. There are actually still like 4 or 5 features that are yet to be added. I'm trying to get them all in before the season starts, but I'm about to go on vacation here. But I thought I would at least share this update. I'm very pleased with this. And if you go to uniques, it's the same thing. The distinct picks, distinct heroes. You'll see people who use Blade Dancers are generally they're using more Split Shot and Gale Slash, and apparently the Goblin Priest module more so than the global usage is. And Rihan and Sage are also the highest users of Blade Dancer's Fingers, which makes sense because it's a life stacking item. So, but we'll take a look at one more unique. We can just go to Eternity. Sure, why not? Thea 1 users, but you can see Eternity because it's sort of like a Mage Blood-esque. It's maybe like a Headhunter-esque for PoE players. Very, very strong unique. So pretty much every build can get some use out of it and can get value out of it. So you see these numbers are a lot lower. But all that to say, I am excited by Torchlight Infinite. I think it's sort of like I'm just glad that there's a game that has the really zoomy kind of hyper explosion atmosphere that I felt like PoE 1 has in maps. Like once you really scale a build up, PoE 1 mapping just looks kind of crazy. And you can get to that level in Torchlight Infinite pretty easily. So I enjoy the game, and I will probably be playing a little bit in the new season. I wish that the seasons were not stacked so close with PoE 1 and Torchlight Infinite, because those are kind of my 2 favorite ARPGs. But, beggars can't be choosers here. So I hope you guys have a nice weekend. That's all for me.